Hello YouTube. Hey, it's Dave here with another Watch Love video. This time featuring an unboxing and an initial impression video of the new Omega Aqua Terra, the blue dial in 41.5 millimeter case size. This is the larger version of the two, the other one being the 38.5 millimeter. I chose the larger look for its sportiness and I want to show it to you today. I'm actually sitting here at home, took a lunch break because UPS is going to be delivering my watch any moment, and I've got to be here to sign for it, and I'm going out of town tomorrow, so you know the deal. If you're not here to sign for it, then they start delivering it days later and it's a mess. So I took a couple of hours off at lunch, and we'll see if we can get the watch in hand. And as soon as I do, we'll fast forward and cut right to the unboxing. So if you're not interested in how I got the watch and the story behind it, then go ahead and fast forward right to the unboxing itself. But otherwise, I'd like to tell you a little bit of the story about why I picked this watch and kind of how I came to being interested in this piece and saving up for this piece. You know, and really the story goes back to when I first started collecting watches. I did like many people do, and I had a watch box of 12 watches full of under $200 automatics, mostly Seikos and other some homage brands like Alpha or Tissot, you know, things I've reviewed here on this channel. And so over time, though, I began, like many of us do, in hunger for a little more quality over quantity. And so I began to sell off those pieces and began to buy a little better quality pieces. And really, it's when I bought my Christopher Ward Trident Pro that I really, for the first time, felt a quality watch in my hand. And again, as I've said many times on this channel, I will defend that watch to the death because I think it's a lot of watch for the money, and definitely a gateway to a higher quality in your hand. And so loved that piece. And so my philosophy changed from quantity down to quality. So I decided for me a 3 to 4, perhaps 5 at the most, core watch collection is about all I needed. And I would rather have higher quality pieces that I loved and wore all the time than a bunch of lower quality pieces that I wasn't fully in love with. So I began to pare my collection down, and then of course it came to thinking about a Grail watch. And of course Grail watches can be of so many different price range. But for me, it was simple. A $3,000 watch, I mean, goodness, that was a lot of money for me, still is a lot of money for me. And so I began to look at the Omega Speedmaster, and it was this time last year that I found the right one, the exact one that I wanted, and that's the one I'm wearing today, and I'll give you a little look at that. It is the Omega Speedmaster, the coaxial version, and just an absolute beauty. I love owning this, and I'm glad I purchased it when I did, because I have not been able to find it used at this price since then. And so this was my Grail piece. But this got me to thinking what it would be like over a long course of time, say 5 to 10 years from now, to begin to turn that 3 or 4 or 5 watch collection into 3, 4, or 5 nice $3,000 luxury watches, and to be able to save towards that goal. So I began to wonder, well, what would be watch number 2? This was certainly watch number 1. What would be watch number 2? And it had to have a blue dial. And as soon as I laid eyes on the Aqua Terra, I knew that would be the one for me. And so last year, I was down in Houston on business and was able to go to an authorized dealer. And in fact, it was funny because I went to an authorized dealer once with the Seiko on and nobody gave me the time of day. This time I went in with this, and I would open the door like this, make sure everybody in the room saw that I was wearing a Speedmaster, and that was my ticket in. And I even told the guy, look, I'm not here to buy, I just don't have an authorized dealer near where I live. I had to travel a couple hours to get to one. So I'm here to just look at your inventory. I want to fall in love with one of your watches, and I'm thinking about the Aqua Terra. And I tried on the 38 millimeter and the 41 blue dial, and as soon as I put on the 41 blue dial, I knew that was the watch for me. I prefer the larger dial because I think the larger dial gives it a slightly sportier look versus the smaller one, which might give it a little bit of a dressier look. But I loved the 41 millimeter. So at that point, it was a matter of saving. And of course, over the past year, I've had a number of watches come and go. The Baume & Mercier, I had the Hamilton, and I just purchased the Seiko Cocktail Time. But the Seiko Cocktail Time is sort of what triggered this. I love the beauty of that watch, and you can see my review, just a video or two back. That watch is an absolute gorgeous piece, but it lacked the quality in the hand. It was very light, the bracelet kind of flimsy, and it really made me hungry for a beautiful blue dial with a high quality band and watch and all together. So that got me thinking back to the Aqua Terra and thinking, well, do I really have to wait years? Am I in the position to get it now? Well, then I realized what I would have to do is really liquidate a lot of what I have, starting with my beloved Omega Seamaster Professional with that beautiful stainless steel bezel. So I finally decided that's going to have to go. The only watch I loved more than that blue dial is the Aqua Terra. And I knew the day was going to come. If I was going to ever get the Aqua Terra, I'd have to sell the Seamaster. So, but again, I was thinking weeks to months ahead from now. And what ended up happening is I listed that on watchyouseek.com thinking it would take me weeks to sell, and I would have a lot of hagglers or a lot of lowballers. But what I ended up getting was a beautiful offer right off the bat, and within 3 hours that watch was sold. I mean, it was with a tear in my eye that I handed that box off to the post office, because that's just an incredible watch. So with that watch gone, and now this accumulation of funds, it just so happened that I got an email at work saying if I didn't cash in or use some of my days off, I'd lose them. So hey, I cashed in some days off. That was it, a little more money. Realized if I sold a few other things, and of course my tax return is coming. So all of that led to the perfect realization that I was prepared now financially to buy the Aqua Terra. So yesterday at noon, I pulled the trigger. And when you're spending that much money on a watch, you might as well select next day shipping. And so here I am waiting for it. Very excited to get it because I'll be flying out tomorrow to my home in Texas, and I will love getting on the airplane and pulling that crown out one notch and turning just the hour hand to the right time zone and not having to fuss with anything else. That's going to be fun. So I'm waiting for it to come, and just you don't have to wait because you can just fast forward right to the unboxing. But one more thing before we go to that unboxing is to talk a little bit about the fact why I bought it new, when I tend to be one that believes in buying used. I'm a real believer in that. The problem with the Aqua Terra is they're hard to find used, and when you do find them, they're only a few $100s often, less than a brand new one. So with that, I began to think, if I buy a used one that's 5, 6, 7 years old, within a little bit of time, I'm going to end up having to have it serviced. And so when you add that cost in, I might as well consider new. And at that point, you really got that old question, authorized dealer versus gray market. And personally, I'm a gray market guy every time. First of all, I'm 2 hours away from a good authorized dealer. So traveling there and spending the day doing that is really not practical. Second of all, I really don't need the pampering or to pay the extra money to build a relationship with an authorized dealer. Being that I have to travel so far, that relationship isn't going to be much. And third, I just really, when it comes down to what you're losing, is that initial warranty, Omega warranty. And when you're talking about paying $1,000 more for a watch, or $1,500 more for a watch, which could have been the price here, then you're talking about, is it really worth paying that extra money for that warranty when I could probably get that watch service 2 or 3 times for that price? So in my mind, there was no need to do the extra money. So Joma Shop is the one I went to, ordered online, went ahead and gave them a phone call. They said, yeah, we'll get the watch right out to you, and it's out on a truck, and I have to wait for it, but you don't, because you get to see it right here. Okay guys, it has arrived, so let's tear into this thing. All right, now we got a box here, and we'll take a better look. So, a lot of wrapping there. Lift it out, and there she is, the beautiful box. Really love the presentation box on this. I'm not going to go through all that because you guys have seen this stuff on a number of unboxings. Little push button opening there, and we will see what we got. And there we go. So there she is. Now, Aqua Terra. Let's make a look how she's supposed to look. And that's how she's supposed to look. Closer look there. beautiful. So there we have it, the Omega Aqua Terra in terrible focus. There we go. And there we go. Had a few focusing issues, but I think that looks a little better. It's a gorgeous blue dial. And a nice hefty band. Little butterfly clasp there, which I won't be able to use until I get all these tags off. So let me get the tags off. Let me get the wrapping, the cellophane off of it, and we'll take a closer look at this. Yeah, there we go. Now this is quite a few hours later. I did have to get back to work, and it took me quite a while to resize the bracelet because these screws get locked in real tight. I think they put a little something, some Loctite or something in there to hold them down. So I actually had to take a hairdryer and heat up those screws to kind of break the bond. And once I did and got the right screwdriver, I was able to get those little screws out. And when the screws are out, those are just end caps to hold in the pins that hold in the bracelet. So it took me a while, but I finally got this baby sized, and there it is on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. And very pleased with this beautiful watch. I'm getting ready to head out of town, so I'm going to definitely use it to travel with this weekend and see what I think of it. And I really love the applied logo there. It just catches the light all the time, as you can see there. And probably this is one of the most readable date windows I've ever had. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know I love a good date window. I don't think the absence of the metal frame around the date window is as troubling as I thought it might be out of the box. It really isn't too bad because there's a little bit of a border. You can kind of tell there's a little bit of border just because the teak lines don't quite go all the way to the date. So it's not bad, and much of the time, if you can see it there, the stainless steel markers just get lost in there. So it doesn't just stand out that there's no frame around the date. And now we can take a look at it with the bracelet. A closer look. I love the center, polished center links. I really think that's gives it, again, the theme of this watch is it's dressy and casual at the same time. It's sporty and dressy, and so is the band. You know, you have that the polished giving it sort of some elegance, and you have the brushed giving it sort of the sporty casual. So yeah, just a fine, beautiful piece. Let's take a look at the movement. And as you can see, that 8500 is just beautiful. Let me get the prints off. There we go. The 8500 is just gorgeous. Probably one of the most beautiful that Omega makes. And turn it around. See it? Absolutely lovely. And of course we have the anti-magnetic features of this watch, which I always wonder how many times my watches get just slightly magnetized from all the devices I'm around. So that's a little piece of mind to go with this watch. Nice solid end links. I did actually take the bracelet off and put it on a couple of blue leather straps that I have, and absolutely amazing. It's going to be a tough choice every time I pull this watch out of the box as to how I want to wear it. So it is screwed all the way down, and yes, my Omega is upside down. You read some reviews about them being perfectly aligned, not mine. And of course the twisted lugs, the 20 millimeter lug width there. And yeah, just a gorgeous piece. All right, there you go. Oh, let me show you one more thing. When you close the clasp, you close this one first, and then the Omega logoed clasp goes over that, and that secures it. Beautiful. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in and going along for the ride with me. If you've watched this all the way through, it was a fun ride today, waiting for this watch to arrive and to anxiously get it sized and on the wrist. And perfect way to end, 10:08, the perfect time for a watch. All right, guys. Take care and have a great day.